Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to tell you a story that may sound simple at first, but by the end, it might completely change the way you look at every minute of your life. This is not just a story about clocks, calendars, or schedules. This is a story about choices, regrets, courage, and the invisible power that shapes every dream you will ever chase. This is the story of the value of time. Let me take you back to a small town where life moved slowly and people believed they had all the time in the world. In this town lived a young man named Ariv. Ariv was kind, intelligent, and full of dreams, but he had one habit that controlled his life without him even realizing it. He believed that tomorrow would always come. He believed there would always be another chance, another day, another moment to begin. Every morning, his alarm would ring, and he would silence it, telling himself, just 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes often became 30. Sometimes an hour. When he finally got out of bed, the sun was already high, and half the day had quietly slipped away. Ariv had dreams. Big dreams. He wanted to become successful, to make his family proud, to travel the world, to build something meaningful. But every time he thought about working toward those dreams, he said, "I'll start tomorrow. Today I'm tired. Today I deserve rest. Tomorrow I'll be serious." Tomorrow became his favorite word. When his friends studied, he scrolled through his phone. When opportunities appeared, he said, "I'm not ready yet." When life asked him to choose discipline over comfort, he chose comfort, believing he could always fix things later. Years passed like this. One day, Ariv received a call that changed everything. His grandfather, the man who had raised him, taught him values, and believed deeply in his potential, was seriously ill. Ariv rushed to the hospital and found his grandfather lying quietly, breathing slowly. Eyes half open, as if watching time itself pass by. Ariv sat beside him, holding his fragile hand, suddenly realizing how weak and limited the human body truly is. His grandfather looked at him and smiled faintly. "My boy," he whispered, "do you know what the most valuable thing in the world is?" Ariv thought for a moment and said, "Money?" His grandfather shook his head. "Health?" Another gentle shake. "Success?" Again, no. Then his grandfather said something Ariv would never forget. "Time. Because once it leaves you, it never comes back. Money can be earned again. Health can sometimes be healed. But a single moment wasted is lost forever." Ariv nodded politely, but deep inside, he didn't fully understand. His grandfather continued, his voice weak but steady. "When I was your age, I also thought I had unlimited time. I postponed my dreams. I delayed my happiness. I waited for the perfect moment. And now, here I am, wishing I could relive even one ordinary day from my youth." Tears filled Ariv's eyes. "Don't wait," his grandfather whispered. "Don't trade your life for comfort. Use your time wisely, because one day, you will wake up and realize the years have disappeared." Those were the last meaningful words his grandfather ever spoke. A few days later, his grandfather passed away. At the funeral, as Ariv watched the final moments of a life being honored, something inside him broke and rebuilt itself at the same time. For the first time, he truly felt the weight of time. Not as numbers on a clock, but as a silent force carrying every memory, every regret, every unfulfilled dream. That night, Ariv couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about all the mornings he wasted, all the opportunities he ignored, all the days he said, "tomorrow." And suddenly, a terrifying question entered his mind. What if tomorrow never comes? From that moment, Ariv decided to change. The next morning, when his alarm rang, he stood up immediately. No excuses. No delays. He started small. Very small. He began waking up early, reading a few pages of a book, writing down his goals, and spending one focused hour each day working toward his dreams. At first, it felt uncomfortable. His mind begged for rest, for entertainment, for distraction. But he remembered his grandfather's words. Time never comes back. Slowly, things began to change. Days turned into weeks. Weeks into months. Arif noticed that while others complained about lack of time, he somehow found more of it. While others waited for motivation, he built discipline. While others said life was unfair, he quietly built his future, 1 hour at a time. But the real test came one evening when an old friend visited him. This friend was exactly like Arif used to be. Full of dreams, full of excuses. They sat together, talking about life, goals, and plans. And his friend said something that shocked Arif. "You're lucky," his friend said. "Things just worked out for you." Arif smiled softly. "No," he replied. "Nothing worked out by accident. I just stopped wasting time." His friend laughed. "Relax," he said. "We're young. There's plenty of time." Arif looked at him carefully and replied, "That's what I used to think too. Let me pause the story here for a moment and talk directly to you. Right now, wherever you are, whatever age you are, time is moving. Not slowly. Not quickly. Perfectly. 1 second at a time. And with every second, your life is being written. The scary truth is this. Time does not care about your plans. It does not wait for your excuses. It does not pause for your fears. It moves forward, silently, carrying your future with it. Most people do not fail because they lack talent. They fail because they waste time. They scroll instead of study. They complain instead of work. They dream instead of act. And then one day, they look back and ask, where did my life go? Time is strange. When you are young, it feels infinite. When you are busy, it disappears. When you are sad, it moves slowly. When you are happy, it flies. But no matter how it feels, one truth remains. Every moment you live is a moment you will never live again. Back to Arif. Years later, Arif became someone people admired. Not because he was rich. Not because he was famous. But because he was disciplined. He respected time. He arrived early. He prepared deeply. He finished what he started. And slowly, success followed him. One evening, after a long day of work, Arif visited his grandfather's old house. The house was quiet now, filled with memories and dust. As he walked through the rooms, he found an old box under the bed. Inside were letters, journals, and photographs. He opened one journal and began to read. It was his grandfather's writing. Page after page, his grandfather had written about dreams he never chased, travels he postponed, words he never spoke, and love he delayed. At the end of the journal, there was one final sentence. If you are reading this, remember, your future is being decided by how you use today. Arif closed the journal, tears falling silently. At that moment, he understood something deeply. Time is not just about productivity. It is about relationships. It is about health. It is about purpose. Every time you choose your phone over your family, time is teaching you what you value. Every time you choose sleep over discipline, time is shaping your future. Every time you choose fear over action, time is quietly closing doors. But here is the beautiful part. Time is also your greatest teacher. If you respect it, it rewards you. If you invest it, it multiplies. If you protect it, it builds your dreams. And if you waste it, it disappears. Let me share something powerful with you. Right now, someone else is waking up early to chase the dream you are postponing. Right now, someone else is learning the skill you are delaying. Right now, someone else is becoming the person you wish to be. Not because they are smarter. Not because they are luckier. But because they decided that their time mattered. You do not need more motivation. You need more respect for your time. Because motivation fades. But time never stops. Imagine if you use just 1 hour every day to improve your life. 1 hour to read. 1 hour to learn. 1 hour to train. 1 hour to plan. In 1 year, that is more than 300 hours of progress. In 5 years, your life would be unrecognizable. But most people waste that hour. They say, it's just 1 hour. They do not realize that life is built from small hours. Dreams are built from small hours. Success is built from small hours. And regret is also built from small hours. One wasted minute at a time. Arif once met an old man on a train. The man looked tired but wise. They talked about life, work, and youth. Then Arif asked him, "What is the biggest lesson life taught you?" The old man smiled sadly and said, "That I had more time than I thought, and I wasted more of it than I should have." Those words stayed with Arif forever. Now let me ask you something. If you were told you had only 1 year left to live, what would you change? Who would you forgive? What would you chase? What would you stop wasting time on? Now here is the truth. You do not know how much time you have. None of us do. So why live as if you have forever? Why delay happiness? Why postpone growth? Why wait to become who you were meant to be? Time is the only currency you spend without knowing your balance. And every day, you wake up with a limited amount. Some people spend it wisely. Some people throw it away. And some people do not even realize they are spending it. Arif built one simple rule for his life. Before doing anything, he asked himself one question. Is this worth my time? Not, is this easy? Not, is this fun? But, is this worth my life? Because that is what time is. Your life. Every second you spend is a piece of your life you will never get back. When you waste time, you are wasting life. When you invest time, you are building life. One day, many years later, Arif became a grandfather himself. And just like his grandfather once did, he called his grandson to sit beside him. He looked into the young boy's eyes and said softly, "Do you know what the most valuable thing in the world is?" The boy smiled and answered, "Time." Arif smiled. "Yes," he said. "And the best way to respect time is to live with purpose." Now let me speak to you again. Right now, you are at a powerful moment in your life. Not because everything is perfect. But because you still have time. Time to learn. Time to change. Time to heal. Time to grow. Time to become. Do not wait for the perfect moment. It does not exist. The perfect moment is now. Start small. Wake up 10 minutes earlier. Read 1 page. Write 1 goal. Take 1 step. Because 1 step today is better than 1,000 plans tomorrow. Stop saying, "one day." Say, "today." Stop saying, "later." Say, "now." Stop saying, "I'm not ready." Say, "I will learn." Remember this. Your future self is watching you right now. And one day, you will thank yourself for using your time wisely. Or you will regret that you didn't. The choice is yours. Time will keep moving. The only question is, will you move with it? Or will you let it leave you behind? If this story touched you, if it made you think, if it made you pause even for a moment, then do one thing today that your future self will be proud of. Because the value of time is not in how much you have. It is in how you use it. And the life you dream of is waiting on the other side of the choices you make today.